Clay is kidnapped and in dire need of our help. Let's just ignore everything and help other people instead.
Are you a bad enough dude to not save someone?
Apparently, we are. So, time to grab some more gold. There's another piece of gold up here, over near the mines, where the train tracks are in the Badlands.
Those miners just aren't looking the right place.
I guess not. I think we're getting to about the halfway point of all the gold in the game. So this is the area just outside of Dodge, where Grey Wolf normally spawns. But on this take he didn't. So that's why I was kind of approaching cautiously. So I decided to come back a little later for Grey Wolf. There's some gold right outside of there.
We're gonna get that dog.
Yes, we will finally be tackling the white whale that is Grey Wolf.
Wanted, Tobias Wood, alias Toby the Torch, former mayor of Dodge City.
Toby the Torch,
Attempted
the
arson of that town.
least successful serial
Suspected
mascot of all
city
time.
limits yet. Peaceful resolution preferred. Shoot on sight.
They're hot!
Okay, so Toby the Torch is kind of unique among all of the bounties in that he is treated as a story NPC that you have to talk to, which then initiates a boss fight. So, look, there's Toby the Torch right there. He's just out in the open. But nope, he's a story NPC. We gotta talk to him. And then... Oh, nope, what? He's a ghost.
He's inside your horse.
Maybe we don't have to turn in that bounty after all.
And Toby thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Well, I decided if I was here, I was going to give him, a free piercing. Hey, that looks good on you.
I used to be an arsonist, but I took an arrow to the palate.
Turn myself in? Never! Killing that whore was my one reason for living. You robbed me of
That
my
sounds like a part of the
revenge.
script that was cut out, because there's no mention of a whore at all in his backstory.
What whore?
The whore that was cut in the second draft, and then they forgot to write it out.
There's only one solution. You die! Burn, baby, burn. Let's go and
Alright, so we subdued Toby, and now we have to kill the rest of his henchmen to take him alive. After that little disco party we had there. Also, I forgot to subtitle that part, but one of his henchmen said, "I'm not here to make friends." I think that was implied by the guns and the fire, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it.
My God, is this what I've been doing to people? I'm making friends all wrong.
He is the great grandfather of the pyro. He only sees a rainbow world when he's setting people on fire. This is another thing that I gotta show off. There's a depth of field optical illusion that's used when you enter or exit a building in order to make buildings appear a little larger on the inside. So I decided while I'm here, might as well finish up the rest of the poker missions in Dodge. There are 3 poker tournaments in Dodge and another 3 in Empire. God, this looks slow even when it's sped up, doesn't it?
It really does.
Some of these portraits are pretty neat. Although there's one portrait I really took a liking to, but we're not going to see that until we get to Empire, or at least until we get to the poker tournaments in Empire. That's not going to happen until we take care of Hoodoo. So while I was here, I decided to look around, and surprisingly, there are tables for other games. Like I think that's there's like a roulette. There's
But you can't play any of those, just poker.
backgammon, baccarat, I think. Anyway, oh wait, what's with these hats? So an idea came to me. Most open world games don't let you take objects outside of indoor areas, but apparently, that doesn't apply to hats in the world of guns. So I decided I'm gonna take this hat with me. It's my friend now. So I gotta push it all the way over to Pat Denton and see if the hat is still there when I trigger the next cutscene for the Deputy Marshal mission with Pat Denton.
Pat in the hat.
Oh. Unfortunately, the hat physics in this game are kind of iffy.
You're my
Hey,
kind
there
of
it
man,
is.
kid. Dodge needs the likes of you. Keep an eye on things while I settle some dust across town.
And for God's sakes, lock that hat up while we're gone.
Kill the gang members on the edge of town.
We need to secure our racks.
It seems like Judy Bloom has called out a hit on the campfire gang. This here's Boxcar Kid territory.
Alright, so remember what I said before about AI not reacting to stealth kills? It kind of applies in the open world as well. Even if the AI is not really programmed for stealth, they'll just sort of cringe, and you can, as long as you apply headshots, they won't react at all. I mean, they'll sort of flinch there, but they won't go into aggro.
Oh my god, this is perfect.
Yeah, this is what happens when you not only build a replica of Rock Ridge, but you also build cardboard people.
Help me get the powder keg delivery down by the docks.
And now we get to the bane of my existence, the powder keg missions. These are easily the worst parts of Pat Denton's side missions. You have to very slowly deliver these powder kegs, and enemies will spawn, because apparently they don't like that TNT is being delivered. So you have to shoot them. And of course, because you're transporting TNT, you gotta make sure that doesn't blow the fuck up. Yeah, as you can probably tell, I'm not a fan of these particular parts of the Denton missions. There is an actual escort mission later on that I genuinely prefer to the powder keg delivery missions.
That's pretty bad.
And there's one later on where you have to deliver 2 powder kegs.
Oh my god.
That is hell.
Raiders are riding in from the east. It looks like they're fixing to shoot up the town.
And also possibly retrieve the Ark of the Covenant while they're at it.
There's that damn deputy. Take him down.
Huh, apparently we're making a name for ourselves in this town. Even though this is just kind of like a side gig that Colton's doing. But apparently everyone knows our name here. And there was another guy claiming that he's not here to make friends.
Level up!
I like your style, kid. Dodge could use your help. Now, I've got some shit to take care of. Keep the peace while I'm busy.
This is so typical of, managers just, passing the buck over to, eager interns who want to do all the work for them.
Thank you for coming. The sheriff said you could help.
Oh my god, we're driving Miss Daisy.
I don't remember Morgan Freeman being quite this badass in the movie, though.
Oh, come on now. Morgan Freeman is badass and everything.
Give us your money, bitch.
Get ready. Here she comes.
I'm done, boys.
So the "I'm done, boss" line is particularly puzzling in this mission because it implies that there's some sort of gang boss who doesn't want charity money doesn't want charity money for those affected by the Red Hand gang going to these families. We've already killed all of the top members of the Red Hand gang. We've killed Rude and Crude, all of the arsonists. Who's left in the gang to give orders?
I mean, if we keep this up, there's going to be so few members they have to merge with the Blue Man Group.
There's nobody left in this town. The town has gone from population 250 to 3.
It is looking a little, desolate.
The population of Dodge at this point could all fit inside the Alhambra.
Take what you can. Deputy's coming. Damn it, he's here. She's mine. Help! I'm out of here.
You wouldn't think to leave as soon as the robbers went upstairs to rob. They clearly didn't secure anybody on the first floor. He had to wait until the deputy arrived and then decide to leave. Also, I decided I would try to be fancy here and throw a whiskey bomb down onto the gang, but my aim is not the best. My throwing arc was still, kind of screwed up by playing too much of the PSP version. And it was never very good to begin with. Also, our sharpshooter stat is low enough that if our aim is not precise enough, when you're at a certain distance, headshots can still be non-lethal. By the time we're maxed out, though, pretty much any shot from a sniper rifle will be lethal.
Arrow in the hand.
This is something where I was trying to see at what point the fairy count comes back. But while I was here, I discovered something rather interesting. There's a visible seam right over here.
It's almost like I'm in some kind of picture thing.
Yeah, it is a gap between textures. I was trying to see if I could get out of bounds there. But nope. Anyway, let's do another one of Denton's missions.
Now, most men are too scared to stand up to the outlaws and Dodge.
That cutscene took 4 seconds.
What?
4 seconds. This entire part has incredibly short cutscenes. And also, this is the mission that I was talking about before, with 2 powder keg deliveries. This is my hell.
Such innovative gameplay.
Oh, and there's friendly NPCs in the way. Although, thankfully, because we're in a mission, the town patience meter is disabled. Also, oops, I went to the wrong bar there. The town patience meter is disabled, so there's no actual consequence for killing friendly NPCs while you're on this mission. They're just there basically to distract you. Yeah, I fast forwarded through the other delivery keg because we've seen enough of this crap, I think. I mean, at least the Marshals stuff in Empire had something of a story to it.
A family's been taken hostage by desperados.
Oh, wait, look, an actual unique mission here. Oh, don't want to run over the dog. Oh, never mind. Again, inconsistent legal system. I clearly killed the dog, they didn't care. Apparently it's only human murder they care about.
Save us!
Stop your crying! No! Shut the hell up!
Also, if you notice here, the wife in this family, she is using one of the models used for the prostitutes at the Alhambra.
Lawmen from the tower. Kill them before they kill you.
Well,
Because they just couldn't be bothered. They just could not be bothered to think of another female model. Also, thank you, horse. It really needed that. Much appreciated.
it's nice to know she got out of that life.
So yeah, there's a bunch of enemies up at the water tower. We gotta snipe them.
Guard the ladder. Don't let him up.
I do at least appreciate that they recorded unique enemy dialogue just for these little side missions. Even if they get tedious even if the actual missions themselves get tedious on occasion, I do appreciate that, you know, there's some variety in the dialogue.
They got some of the little touches right.
All right, so I was curious what happens if you actually climb the water tower, because the water tower is part of a set piece later in the story. But I was wondering if there's anything up there in the water tower, you know, just during free roam. What do you think will be up there? Jack shit. It was a waste of time.
Ah, but the real reward was the memories we made along the way.
And apparently the real reward was me forgetting to mute my phone before we started recording. Also, I was trying to see if I could jump on top of the dog. But I couldn't.
Just received a new shipment of goods.
So there's only a couple of items left from the shopkeep in Dodge. So we're going to buy them. Only the scalping knife is left. We'll come back for that one.
Wanted, Mad Dog McGrady. Last seen near Magruder's mine. To be considered armed and very dangerous. Must be apprehended alive.
Yep, so just like other missions we had where they would only accept them dead, here's one mission where they will only accept the target alive. And just to make things difficult for us, he's going to have a bunch of henchmen around, and he's going to be riding on horseback. Meaning we're going to have to shoot his horse down and be careful with our aim. Plus, as soon as we get a little too aggressive, Mad Dog is going to start retreating. With a very strangely effeminate voice clip there. I'm not entirely sure what that's about. And I'm not against that sort of thing. It just seemed out of place for the character. Anyway, it's also kind of awkward trying to shoot his horse out from under him. Because he's moving, you know. Anyway.
Well, the voice is appropriate because where we're taking him, they're going to call him Poodle.
Oh, why am I laughing at that? It's a horribly out of taste joke, but I'll admit you pulled it off somehow. Anyway, so I kind of left my horse, which meant I had to walk around. This is definitely one area where I kind of wish that Rogue was in the console version. because having to walk around the free roam is not very fun, as you can see. Though there are horses that are mounted at particular stations, or spawn points, I should say, and they are consistent spawn points. There are also like wild horses that you can find in certain areas of the Badlands, that sort of thing. Anyway, so now while I'm here, I know that this is where Grey Wolf usually spawns, and hey, check it out, he spawned. Alright, time to take down that bastard once and for all. So this is how it's supposed to work. You use the crouch to get near him. You have to be within a certain range and get a perfect headshot using the bow.
Be very, very quiet.
See the majestic Grey Wolf. It's very unusual to see this particular wolf outside of its natural habitat, because usually it's in an R-wing. Alright, I'm close. Nope, I was like a couple of pixels off! So, it's at this point I had to think of a strategy to save here. Going around, having to think of different ways to manipulate his spawn, because he does eventually despawn and respawn if you're close enough for the map.
No, I figured you had him.
So after many, many tries, eventually, I got to a point where I think I had a chance. Also, if you gallop with your horse, it spooks him. You can't move with your horse when you're too close. Basically, as soon as you see the name appear, you have to be close enough. Or sorry, you are close enough. Also, pay attention here at the top of the screen. I'm in range. Now I got it. In between firing the arrow and it registering in its brain, it got spooked. And it still counted.
Thank God.
The system is kind of screwed up that way. Anyway, at this point I was, shouting and cheering, and I needed to celebrate my kill in the traditional ways of the hunter. Assert my dominance.
Come on, Carcass, we're gonna go introduce you to Poodle.
At this point, I was just so relieved to have finally killed that
Just
goddamn
received a new
wolf.
shipment of goods. Have a look.
And at this point, I finally had enough money to buy the scalping knife, and now we have every item that we can possibly buy from the Dodge General Store. Which means 15 out of the 30 upgrades. Actually, no, yeah, I think 15 out of the 30 upgrades. Something like that. I'll be showing off how scalping works in the next video. So, let's go over to Hecht Ranch and talk to the rancher.
Hey there, Cole. Yeah, we've had a problem with wolves recently. Can you check up on the herd and make sure they're
You
safe?
don't have a problem with wolves anymore, mister.
Don't be more of a danger to my cows than the wolves are. Use a small caliber weapon if it comes down to it.
This sounds like a job for Storm. This mission's pretty fun, actually. It's basically a more expansive version of those Wolf Rampage missions that we had much earlier in the game. You can do it either by, sniping them from a distance, or by, rampaging in to the actual field of play and, gunning down the wolves with your pistol. Either way, it's pretty fun. Not so much fun for your horse's knees, though.
No, that horse will never play football again.
It will, however, coach college football and make tens of millions over the next 20 years. So, don't feel too sorry for it. Unfortunately, the way that these enemy placements are spawned is kind of odd, because they sort of spawn them in weird circles around where the mines are, which doesn't... It kind of makes for a very strange setup. Like, there's this one wolf that spawns in the complete opposite direction here. Had to kind of figure out where it was. It's on the other side of where the mine is. I feel like they should have placed them a little better. It's still an interesting level, though.
It's a little weird because it seems like they don't come from anywhere, they just appear, and the game doesn't do a very good job of hiding that.
Yeah, it does the same thing with human enemies as well. Also, pay attention here. Whoop! The rancher just disappeared. So this game has a problem with some of its...
We're in the porch.
That's the lesser problem, though. This game has a problem with some of its quest giver NPCs. When you because when you're in the further draw distance here, it loads the NPC and then deloads when it realizes that there aren't any more quests to give. It has that in-between state, and it tricked me into thinking that there were more ranch missions when that was actually the last ranch mission available. Oh, hey, it's Fred Tatasciore again, voicing Earl's brother Daryl.
Name's Johnny Calhoun. He'd be real grateful.
I can't remember if we've done any of the Empire Pony Express missions yet.
A bit of it.
This old broomtail's about to throw a shoe. I'm too darn busy to take her to the farrier. Better get her to the farrier right quick, or she's gonna pull up lame. Then she'll be all full of piss and vinegar.
A broomtail is like a small, low-quality horse that you'd find out in the Old West. Have you ever seen one of those like old toy horses from the 60s with like a horse head on a stick? It's actually like a pun based on that. It's like a broomtail placed on the tail end of a broom.
Oh, that old girl's about to throw a shoe. I'll have her prancing with her tail up right soon.
So yeah, long story short, it's an actual breed of horse.
I hear Stumpy McNubb could use another pair of hands at the hardware
As in
shop.
one pair of hands, judging by his nickname.
What could we possibly be doing at a hardware shop? I wonder.
Repairing computers.
Take these supplies to the rail workers. Give them to the foreman just outside of town.
Fresh horse.
So at this point, I'd add some fake difficulty here by having extra random encounters between natives and Magruder's men. We can run the natives over even though we're technically on their side, and they will not care at all. They're actually marked as enemies on the map for some reason.
Thanks for the supplies, kid. We can step up the pace now. If I could keep the Irish sober.
Ooh.
Even though you have Chinese workers, he's still cracking wise about the Irish. He's a very confused racist.
Clearly also blind based on that shirt.
You're gonna taste hot lead, stranger.
So I left in this bandit attack just to show how much our weapons have been upgraded since the last time we ran into bandits. See, it's over already.
Aw, poor bandits.
See, look, Daryl disappeared again. Same thing as what happened with the rancher.
We've been expecting a coach from Dodge. Should have been here by now. Ride their route, see what's going on.
This is another pretty interesting side mission here. Like I said, I vastly prefer the Marshall's side missions to Denton's because they actually have like small stories to them, even if they're generally shorter.
You mean to tell me they make sense and have narrative? Who'd have thought?
Greetings, mister.
We're just taking a break in the shade.
He switched voice actors in between lines there.
ain't no business.
Splat.
Get along, sonny boy.
Also, would you believe there was a splice there? I thought I would have to make it more difficult in between those two takes, but apparently it just so happened to be a perfect splice moment in between those two headshots. You probably wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't pointed it out. This section is actually pretty tough, just because, again, this terrain is not really built for, you know, horseback combat. Or at least not when the enemies are on horses. So, anyway, this is another section where some of the scripting can get a little iffy.
On the road? There might still be some TNT up above them.
Oh look, it's another prostitute model. Because they just could not be bothered to make more than 2 female models. Because they made another one for the wealthy citizen. At least they didn't give the wealthy citizen a prostitute model. Alright, so this is on take 1, where I go up here. And then I fade away to a take 2. And on this take, I did not talk to the driver first. And it's actually important to keep that in mind for something that'll happen later. So I go over here and, you know, throw the barrels over and clear the wreckage.
Perfectly sensible so far.
So then I'm thinking, you know, wait, what's happening? What's going on? The mission should be completed by now. And then I realized I didn't talk to the driver. And he's only going to complete half of his dialogue here.
This fella's hurt awful bad. We need to get him back to Dodge.
Well, where's Dean? We got to do a 13 years late QA report. Also, you may have noticed that there was some gold up there. So we might as well grab that while we're here. Gotta grab our horse though, because in order to get this gold, we gotta do a sweet jump. And not just that sweet jump, another sweet jump. Alright. Sweet jump time. Here we go!
The Dukes of Hazzard would be... Oh, the horse fell.
The horse is gone. The horse fell. So I'm kind of stuck here. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we'll just enjoy the view.
Well. This is it. It's been a wild ride. Thank you for watching my Let's Play of Gun. It's been a blast, folks. See you later.
All done. Bye-bye. See you in the next game. .72 seconds.
Yeah. And okay, so next episode is going to be like a series of just consecutive point of no return missions all in a row because this game just does not know how to pace itself at all. That's going to be fun.